When someone says something, how do you describe it to another person? This lesson will focus on reported speech, or you can call it indirect speech. Direct speech: Joe knows a lot of people, said Tom. Indirect speech: Tom said that Joe knew a lot of people. Notice that the spoken words are in quotation marks. Joe knows a lot of people. The verb knows is in the present tense. It changes to knew the past tense. Now we will see how the tenses and the verbs change when using indirect speech. If we have present verb in the reported speech, we change it to past tense. For example, direct speech: the mail isn't here yet, Tom said. Indirect speech: Tom said that the mail wasn't here yet. The verb is in the present tense. It changes to was the past tense. Now if we have the verb in the present continuous in the reported speech, we change it to past continuous in the indirect speech. For example, direct speech: is it going to rain today? Tom said. Indirect speech: Tom asked if it was going to rain today. The verb is going is in the present continuous tense. It changes to was going the past continuous tense. If we have the verb in the past tense in the reported speech, we change it to the past perfect in the indirect speech. For example, direct speech: we lived in China for 5 years, Tom said. Indirect speech: Tom said they had lived in China for 5 years. The verb lived is in the past tense. It changes to had lived, the past perfect tense. If we have the verb in the present perfect tense in the reported speech, we change it to the past perfect in the indirect speech. For example, direct speech: they have lived here 10 years, Tom said. Indirect speech: Tom said they had lived here 10 years. The verb have lived is in the present perfect tense. It changes to had lived, the past perfect tense. If we have the verb will in the reported speech, we change it to the verb would in the indirect speech. For example, direct speech: I will be ready by 10 o'clock, Tom said. Indirect speech: Tom said that he would be ready by 10 o'clock. The verb will is changed to would. If we have the verb can in the reported speech, we change it to the verb could in the indirect speech. For example, direct speech: can you play the guitar? Tom said. Indirect speech: Tom asked me if I could play the guitar. The verb can is changed to could. If we have the verb may in the reported speech, we change it to the verb might in the indirect speech. For example, direct speech: I may go to Paris, Tom said. Indirect speech: Tom said that he might go to Paris. The verb may is changed to might.